I'd like to call the meeting to order. Do the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Yeah, you moved it over. Adoption of minutes. Can I get a motion to adopt the minutes from the February 15th meeting?
I'll move it. I'll second it.
Councilor Moore, Councilor Gerasi, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, none. Motion passed to adopt the minutes. Citizens' comments on agenda items, oh, sorry, on anything except political or personnel issues. Is there anybody wishing to comment? Going once.
Oh, yeah.
If you could please come up to the microphone.
My name's Jerry Martin. I live over in Timberbanks. I'm actually on the HOA there.
Yes.
I have actually two quick questions. One is we're developing a skunk problem in the development. I guess it's common for golf courses, which we're adjacent to. But I'm just curious, is that something that the animal control or whatever you have here in the town would address, or is that our issue?
It's your issue.
Our issue.
We have dog control
Okay, but
through the SPCA.
Okay.
We don't have
Discrimination.
We have animal abuse. Yes, we're very discriminatory.
And the other question is, I just ran into it today, two of the neighbors in our development have a common property line, and there's a swale down through it, and the water, you had rain yesterday, heavy rain, and the water's coming off the neighbor's property and flowing into the neighbor's property, if you understand what I'm saying. Again, is that something that the town of Lysander had to give a building permit for the, it all rotates around a shed that was added a year ago, or actually 2 years ago. But anyways, they said that it's causing the water to deflect over into their property. They didn't have that issue before the shed was put up. The town issued a building permit. Again, is that something that the town can address, or is that something that the neighbors have to address? I told them they should talk to each other. They haven't, but one neighbor's down in Florida. They won't come back for a couple months yet. But is that something, I know Al Yeager's the engineer, and
So Jerry, it depends on the situation. If the neighbor is downhill, like naturally down gradient, and there was, that's the flow path that's always occurred. It's called riparian rights. It kind of becomes a civil matter. If there's a drainage easement between the two properties, it's something that we could help out with.
okay, I don't think there's there's a swale, but that's fine.
Yeah, just a swale between the two properties, and that's, kind of a typical grading plan or lot layout plan out there, and it goes to drainage in the back.
Yeah. And I think, I asked him, does he have a ready lawnmower, the two neighbors, and they said yes. It looks to me that the swale has been flattened out. I had a similar occurrence on my property when I lived in Brewerton. We mowed over the swale for years, and all of a sudden, we didn't have much of a swale anymore.
Yeah, if everybody blows their grass into the low spot over time,
Just the tires on the vehicles.
Yeah.
So anyways, so that would be a neighbor's issue then, I guess.
It is, yeah.
Okay, good. Thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you. And Alan, back to that regard, drainage issues. Drainage easement or not? I know we've had some issues in other areas where it's like property to property, something not draining. Could you give a little clarification on that? Because what you just said was we could assist, but we can only assist if it's within the easement.
Well, yes, we can't get the water to the easement. So it's a property owner's responsibility to get the water to the easement. Our responsibility is to make sure that easement will convey flow of water.
Right. And But sometimes there's a swale, that might not necessarily be a drainage easement on
Correct.
the property.
Correct.
So that's,
Correct. Yes, yeah.
I guess I didn't explain it quite accurately, but the shed got a permit to be added onto the side of their house, and it has a shed-type roof. So, and it's directed towards the neighbor's property. Now, they claim the roof above that, the water's coming off that, hitting the shed and going on. I don't think that's the case, because the main roof has a different pitch and goes to the back of the property, whereas this shed has a roof that goes to the side property, so it's not all the water.
What's the
Could it be as
distance?
simple as putting a gutter on the back of the
Well,
shed?
I asked them that first thing, and they do have a gutter in it, but the problem is the drain pipe comes down right to the bottom and then goes out on the lawn, so they can navigate over to the other guy's property. When he comes back from Florida, my suggestion to him was see if the new owner of the property next door will put in a 4-inch solid pipe down to this back property and connect the 2 downspouts to it, and problem solved.
Yeah.
But I don't know if he'll go for the expense or not. We'll have to see.
thank you. Thank you. Any other comments?
Go ahead.
Okay, quick one. We wondered if the town has a noise ordinance, because we're getting complaints of dogs and generators and everything like that. Is there a ordinance in our town? that
Yes,
gives
there
us-
is. Yes.
Okay, how do we find that? I mean, I searched noise ordinance, noise disturbance, abatement, all kinds of things. I couldn't find it. So if maybe whoever can research for me that, I appreciate it.
It's I can tell you right now, if you go to the town website,
Yeah.
and it's not actually on the town website, you have to click on the code of the town of Lysander.
Right here, ma'am, right here.
This is our current website, which, side note, is a spoiler alert, we're working on upgrading the website. So
80% done.
I'll cross that off my supervisor's comments. Right here, now my eyes aren't that great, but I'm pretty sure that says Code of Town of Lysander. And that's a link to an E-code site, which will bring you here.
Okay.
It's searchable.
I was searching on your main website. and-
Right, you wanna go here.
Okay.
And, like barking dog, that would be under something
That's
that,
Chapter, I was gonna say, it's chapter 202 is the ordinance that she would probably be interested in.
yeah.
Article 98 is
I can't see
the,
Noise, I see it.
Yes, but that, and if you wanted to print it, you hit this, like, if you wanted to print the whole code, you check that, go up here, download,
Okay, great.
okay? And if you click right on the whatever code, that's alcoholic beverages, you can pick just certain parts of the code, you don't have to print. So it's very helpful, and the search works a lot better when you're in the E-code, because it won't find it from our website.
Right.
And the
that's-
noise is a certain decimal after 10 o'clock,
That's what we want, just
Yeah.
make sure that we have the right.
after 10 p.m.
Yeah, great.
There's
Thank you.
two, it's,
but Ms. Dog noise is separate. Dog is under Article
before
98.
ten.
I think you and I had spoken about
You
that
guys-
before now. Dog noise is separate than the code noise for other issues.
Oh, two separate issues.
They're two separate. So Article 98, dog control, persistent howling, barking, that type of thing would go to the SPCA. And they would be the ones to investigate that. Or you can call me and I can,
Thank you.
help you out with that.
Okay? Mr. Burke.
Fred Birch, Plainville Road. I just wanted to say those were some beautiful pictures of the village of Baldwinsville on the town of Lysander website. Beautiful.
Feel free to send us pictures for the new
Well, if you
website.
need
We
some
can
help,
put them on. Yes.
just ask.
Absolutely.
Just ask. And that reminds me of some of the public service announcements I've heard in the last week, and had a conversation with the supervisor a couple days ago. From the town of Clay, who's, doing the Micron build out, but on the news and on the radio, you could hear on a daily basis that they were advertising a open public hearing for constituents to come in and talk to the Army Corps of Engineers and Micron engineers And I believe this is at least the 4th public hearing that they've announced over the public service. In other words, news stations, radio stations. And I know that they're gonna have more. But I don't know, I believe those announcements are free. I don't think they cost the town of Clay to contact the news agencies to get the word out to the constituents. And by attending the meetings, I can see that it has an effect. A lot of people show up. And I know I mentioned something about it before, but when regarding controversial or big projects in the town of Lysander, I would like to see our board, our clerk's office, whoever it may be, reach out to the particulars to better inform the public, to enable them so that they know that there's a meeting, where it is, regarding that issue. I just think that if we could reach out a little bit with that, I think maybe we might be a little better at than just sending something to the messenger or the Post Standard, which I'm a paper reader, but I know everybody I talk to, my friends said in their mid-50s, nobody gets a paper anymore. And it's a shame, but I just think it would be a better way of notifying the public. And like a couple meetings ago, members of the board made mention about upcoming projects in our community, about ideas. Some of them I can, about walk paths and possibly developing them in our town and connecting them to ones that might be in the process of being made or already done. And, I'm all for those ideas. But the thing that I would stress to the board is that it might be just a good idea for one person or one group or one development. I think a better way of approaching these projects would be to reach out to our constituency, to develop a flyer, a brochure that we send to the residents with a bullet list of potential projects that we're discussing and their favorability for it or not, and then an empty space where they might offer an idea that they're thinking of that our group didn't think of. And that's a better way of reaching out to the people to see what would the community support. I think that's better than building something and hoping they'll come, like we did with the spray park. And so I'm not against development, I just want to see that the public backs it, and how we do that is to reach out to them and see what their opinion is. I don't see that there's anything wrong with that. And the last thing I would say, if I do have a little bit, a minute probably, great to see people come and sitting in the chairs, it's wonderful. The last couple of weeks I've been watching on YouTube other town board meetings of other districts, and there's one specifically in the state of Illinois. It's called Dalton. They are a suburb of Chicago, much like Liverpool or Camillus would be to Syracuse. And the camera pans, and you can see 200 or 300 people in their town boardrooms. And the passion of those people when they come up and speak. And I just think that maybe if you have a chance to get on and view 1 or 2 of those from the last 2 or 3 months, the people in the community have a lot of passion. And I don't think there's anybody that's ever attended our meetings that's been as brash or as loud or whatever as you see in some of those meetings. So I just wanted to point that out to contrast some of the things that we've seen here and maybe some of the things that people have been upset about. It's not even in the same category as when you compare it to what you see on there. And as far as we know, I mean, you could see that there's sheriffs in the room and nobody's get arrested. But they are able to speak their mind.
Right.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Is there anybody else in the audience? Being none, I will move on to town board comments. Councilor Moore, we'll start with you.
All right, thank you everybody for coming. Thank you for your comments, and thank you for watching. It's almost spring, hang in there.
I will stick to the agenda. Councilor Kourakis.
I had the opportunity to ride wing with one of our plow drivers a couple weeks ago. Ken was understaffed, so he gave me a call, and I was honored to help the wing guy, or the driver doing the wing. It's quite interesting what you see out there, what these plow drivers have to go through. You got people, when they have to back up a lot, they don't tend to back up themselves, and you're at a standstill, and these guys are out there 2 to 3 hours at a time and playing chessmate with these drivers. And I just ask people, when they see a plow truck, just be patient. You see one back up as well too. And it was eye-opening, and it was fun, so I had a good time.
How'd you do with that wing?
I got yelled at twice.
It was like 3 o'clock in the morning.
Did you get a mailbox? Did you get a mailbox?
No mailbox, I wasn't driving,
Which area were you in?
I don't know.
That's how it goes.
It was fun.
It's not the driver who hits him, it's the winger.
It's the driver that hits the mailbox.
I was pretty sure you control both plows, right?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Just checking.
It's quite intimidating doing those controls. It really is.
Okay, supervisor's comments. I don't have much tonight. I talked about the website, we're moving on. We're hopefully getting that probably in the next 2 months. We should have that unveiled. Maybe at the next meeting, we'll throw up what the draft looks like to give people an idea. It's a brighter, cleaner website. It's a lot easier to navigate, I'm hoping. Mr. Schmidt out there in the audience is working with us on assisting with doing the website. We've had great feedback so far. Dina and I have met with some department heads about making sure their departments are good, what they want up on there. So that's moving forward. The other thing I'd like to say is, recent weeks, Onondaga County, OSIDA, apartment tax breaks. This will be, micron development in the suburbs. It will be a big thing. Lucky us, we all ran for these jobs, so we get to make the big decisions regarding the future of the town when we're on the board. And, getting back to what Mr. Birch said, in talks with various counselors, we will probably have public listening sessions regarding this. As you saw, if you watch the news, Cicero has had a public hearing on trying to wrangle their piece of the pie back from the county tax breaks. We'll see where that goes in the coming weeks. And, they have a lot different zoning in the town of Cicero than the town of Lysander, but that's something that will have to be on our radar, given our proximity to Clay. And, Route 31 runs right through all 3 towns, and sooner or later, when people move here, they'll be looking for a place to live. So, we're fortunate for those people who don't think we do have apartments, and we have Timber Banks, which has quite a few apartments. We have Radisson, which has quite a few apartments. We're fortunate enough, they're PUDs, they sort of manage themselves. It's not really a town issue. With increased population comes police services. And we're trying to keep the tax rate low, and that is not something that's cheap, but it's also something that's needed when you get to that point. And remember, we can't control what another town does, but we get some of the ramifications from those projects. So that's really all I have on that end so far. Thank you for those attending. Hopefully on the weather end, it hasn't been much of a winter for the people who like snow out there, but for the people who are hoping to turn the corner, I'm right there with you. Not ready to mow lawns anytime soon, but I'd love the 50s to stick around for a month sooner than expected. Okay, on to department head reports. Tony, do you have anything? No. Kevin? Okay. Ken?
I'll stick to the agenda.
Okay. Town engineer? Al?
I'll pass and defer to Ken on the pavement management plan and just kind of give an update on that.
Okay. Did you want to, we didn't get it on the agenda. Ken and Alan worked on the pavement management plan.
Right, so each
The
of you.
next meeting, we will have it out, we'll get it on the website for people to.
Right. I'm pretty sure an email was sent out that had the list, but I'm working on the list that, take, for example, Loop Road. Loop Road will have all the steps on it. There's some overhanging trees, there's a couple of potholes. So you'll have the list of roads, but then each road will be broken down as to what it needs to give an indication of why we picked that road. And, you know, this year we were kind of locked into this area because we got the grant for Loop Road, which is a very large road. But we're gonna make the dollar go the furthest, and the town is gonna look sharp. So that list should be coming probably tomorrow.
Okay.
You'll get that email with that added attachment.
And pencil out the March 21st meeting, because we'll have that on the agenda for you.
Yep. Yes, and then I'll do a presentation where, you know, we'll go through it
Okay.
publicly here at the lake.
Yeah, and for the public, pavement management plan, the highway supervisor decides, he usually sits down with the town engineer, he identifies the roads that need the work done, we budget every year for roads. We also luck out from year to year and get extra additional funds from the state that we didn't necessarily account for. So normally we have the first pavement management plan. We normally find out from the state after they get the budget done, which is, you know, toss the dice on if it's April 1st or May 1st. But when we get those fundings, we sit and see, we budget an expectation of what we get. Sometimes we get more. Ken gets some of the road work done, we get the bids out there, we find out we have extra funds, he might come back to do additional roads. You know, it's a moving target. Some roads that were identified last year might not make the list this year because of the winter or other issues that have arisen. That road might have to get pushed to the front of the list. So if you want to come back to the next meeting, Al and Kenny have about 15 roads on there.
Yeah, that's a few. I mean, it's a little shorter than normal, but we've got some big roads on there that are long and wide.
Yes, so, okay, that gives a brief explanation of that. So if you see PMP or pavement management plan up on the website, that'll be in regards to that. And just so the public knows, we will be having an executive session at the end. On to regular agenda items. I would like to get a motion to approve the special event license for the Earth Day Half Marathon on April 21st, 2024.
I'll move it.
I'll second.
Okay. Councilor Rogers, Councilor Mark, discussion. Kevin, I assume everything was met with the special permit. You put it on the agenda to approve it. Does anybody else have any questions? This is, I don't know how many years have they done this. You know, it's been for quite a while. It's well attended. Okay, motion to approve. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Motion passed. I would like to get a motion to hold a public hearing on Thursday, March 21st, 2024 at 6:30 p.m. Lysander Town Hall to consider a local law under Article 29 to extend the moratorium on solar farms in the town of Lysander.
I'll move that.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Councilor Moore moved it. Councilor Kudarakis seconded. Discussion. Just so the public understands, we had voted back on September 21st to extend the moratorium because of recent changes, and we're still not finished with the local laws and changes. And the state isn't, you know, through some of their process, we're going to be extending that again.
At the last one we can do.
There is no limit on them, on extensions. You could possibly get blowback from people that are looking to put applications in, but you can't put them out indefinitely.
Right.
So that's why we're doing this 6 months at a time. And I know on one hand, on the battery one, you know, we had expected some kind of guidance from the state that is still in the process, which I'll get to when we get there. So we're doing our best, but we're also waiting for the state to give the guidance. So that's why we're holding this off. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? No. Motion passed.
Can you tell me who seconded that, please?
Jeff,
Counselor Kutaragi.
Thank you.
I'd like to get a motion to hold a public hearing on Thursday, March 21st, 2024 at 6:30 PM, Lysander Town Hall, to consider a local law under Chapter 102-7 to extend the moratorium on Tier 2 battery energy storage in the town of Lysander. This moratorium will be extended to September 21st, 2024. Motion shall authorize town clerk to advertise for the same.
I'll move it.
Counselor Gerasi moved.
Go ahead, Jeff.
I'll second.
Counselor Kutaragi, second. Discussion. As I had alluded to earlier, the state is still not, they're in the public comment period of their process of taking information to give their laws and rules regarding battery energy storage after the fire up north last fall. So that is why we are extending this, and I would expect the state to probably give some guidance probably by May or June, given where they are in their public comment period. So we should have that done sometime in the summer. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None? Motion carried. Motion D, I'd like to get a motion to appoint Deputy Frank West as security for town hall meetings and court. Do I have to have court in there also? And court for effective March 1st, 2024 at an hourly rate of $42.23 with a 3-hour minimum.
I'll move it.
Counselor Kutaragi
I'll
moved.
second that.
Counselor Gerasi seconded. Discussion. Okay. Obviously, if you were here for the work session, we have a revolving pool of sheriff deputies that come in on their own time as overtime to take care of court security or, town board meeting security in case my mother gets out of hand. I thank you. I appreciate it. If we could go back in time, I'll tell you stories. No, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? No. Motion carried. I would like to get a motion to go into executive session for matters leading to the appointment, promotion, demotion, discipline, suspension, dismissal, or removal of a particular person in our.
I'll second it.
Counselor Gerasi moved, Counselor Moore seconded at 7 p.m. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
We're in executive session. There will be no action after the executive session. Have a good evening.